It's currently Wednesday, December 9th, 12 AM. And in about 9 hours, the biggest test of my entire life is about to start. I'm currently working on my bachelor's degree in architecture, which is really exciting but also really stressful sometimes. In this assignment, I'll have to design a pavilion according to the specifications that my school has given me, and I'll have to hand in products according to all the 4 specializations that my school gives, which is architecture, structural engineering, build engineering, and organization. I'm really excited but also kind of nervous. So I'm gonna go to bed and I'll see you in the morning. After having bothered the teachers with questions for an hour, everybody in my year started working on the project. I had to design a hard rock cafe in an office space, which is a really awkward combination, but also really interesting. I started off with writing down the areas for the floor plans and some requirements for the building, like how many toilets I needed and the needed glass area for daylight in the spaces. After that, I thought about what I wanted my design visions to be, which were having contrast between the office and the cafe, or the formal and the informal. I wanted to be an inclusive design so that everybody in the area felt welcome and actually inclined to visit the space. And I wanted the building to be sustainable where possible, but seeing the amount of space we had to work with, that turned out to be a real challenge. With all the prep work done, I got to work on making plans for visual and physical connections between rooms, so I had clear which rooms would lead into which room and where windows, cutouts and other types of openings would be. Because after having figured that out, I could start designing floor plans. Using circles to represent the rooms, I wasn't too limited to try and figure out the shape as much, as I was still looking for rough placements. Making a couple of these sketches gave me a better understanding of how the floor plan would actually look, and I could start working on shapes. Gonna get down to 2 sketches and comparing the hate and like points I had written down, I started with actually drawing a couple floor plans. Sadly, I lost the footage for this I shot on my phone after importing it to my computer, but a couple photos should do the trick and give you a better understanding of what I did. After slowly getting a floor plan design I was actually happy with, I started on working on some mass studies. I already had a pretty clear plan of what I wanted the shapes to be, but for the sake of process I drew 3 of these masses, and to no surprise, I stuck with my original idea. By this point 2 days had passed by already, and I was almost done with the designing portion of this test. So it's currently day 3 and I've gone ahead and put the design into Revit. I haven't had the possibility to show you much of this because this just takes a long time, but I guess why not show the result I am at so far. It's a really rough mock-up, but it gives me the possibility to make a couple elevation sections and callouts for where the details will be later on down the road. So in about 2 hours I have to hand in the preliminary design, which is what we're currently looking at. I'm generally really happy with how it's looking so far. Given the amount of time we've gotten to actually design this, because this test isn't all about architecture itself, which is kind of sad. A couple floor plans to give you an idea of the situation we're working with. On the left hand, I have to design a hard rock cafe. On the right side, we have an office space for about 10 employees, including 2 conference or meeting rooms. In the upstairs of the cafe area, we have the seating, which is just an open floor to place tables on and redesign the entire room if desired by the owner. On the top floor it's just again empty, so you can place desks wherever, and I'm gonna have to do that eventually. Apart from that, it's mostly empty right now because actual interior design and actual other like nice things to do don't really matter for this course, because we're not being graded on that, and it's just mainly the design and the process of designing, which you've seen right before this. We also have to allocate space to a ticket machine, which I'm not certain about yet where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to probably locate it right next to the door for easy access, and just keep the rest of the hall clean for either artwork or plants and greenery. But this is what we're working with so far. I'm going to finish this up. Probably not going to show much of it because it's just really boring, really nitty-gritty work to all visualize it, and it's not much designing anymore. So after day 4 I didn't film much anymore because it all got really boring. It was just a lot of paperwork, making sure my design choices were actually supported by facts and that I didn't just break the laws with my building. But on day 6, what I thought was the day before I actually had to hand it in, I had planned to make sure I got all the work done, so on the last day I could just focus on layout and making sure everything was as it should be. But on day 6 I actually had to hand it in before 6 p.m. already. So after I woke up, I didn't have much time anymore to either do any filming, because I really wanted to do the markup, wanted to film the markup, and wanted to make sure it all looked pretty so I could show it to you. But that didn't really work out the way I had planned it to. So on the last day I had to do a lot of work in a really short period of time, which is a huge bummer because I really enjoyed the project so far, and I actually wanted to work it out a little bit further than I had taken it until that point. And I wanted to make sure it was something I was really proud of and could add into my portfolio. Which currently, with the state of the project, I'm not going to do it because it's all just really sloppy and I didn't have much time to clean it up. So after hastily handing in my project, I didn't have much to do anymore except for writing an appendix, which turned out to be a lot more difficult than I had expected, because I didn't know what to change about the design, or didn't know where I went wrong, because I hadn't had the chance to actually fully work it out yet, which basically brought me to the conclusion that I just should have paid more attention to planning and made sure that I had all my dates correct before actually starting the project, and making sure that next time I allocate the right amount of time for everything, instead of working on architecture for 2 days straight and then making sure all the rest was correct afterwards, and I should have done it more integrally. But after seeing the final project, I was kind of proud of myself for having done so much work in such a short period of time, knowing myself and how bad I am at focusing at something. Even with tests in a classroom or anything, I just can't focus. I look at the test for half an hour and actually work. And then for 10 minutes I just stare into the distance and then don't even know what the hell I'm going to do with the rest of my day, or think about what I'm going to eat for dinner. But after having done so much work in such a short period of time, which I wasn't really used to, I was so tired, and that's the reason why I'm filming this the day after the test instead of on the same day. And that's also the reason why this video took so incredibly long to upload, because I was just busy for an entire week and then a couple of days of editing and finishing up the video. So I thank you very much for watching this video and sitting through this very stressful time with me. It's been a lot, but it's also been really fun, and really fun recording this video actually. It motivated me to do more work in a shorter period of time, because I had to set up the camera and just work, because I didn't want to run out of battery, or didn't want to run out of storage on the camera. But having said that, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button, and I hope to see you on the next one. I'm gonna cook dinner now because I'm getting pretty hungry.